welcome to Club Shada episode 362 or something like that. I hope everybody's doing great. I hope everybody is in their best feelings, just like I am. This show is brought to you by Shada, Gods of Good Fortune. Thanks to our stream royalty Aran Saudi with a donation of 20 euros. And of course, thanks to all our donators, the sponsors. Merci vraiment. Without further ado, go in the chat and put the flag of where you represent, and also put some likes. I don't see the likes. I want to see everybody that is watching have to put a like. That's very important for the algorithms of you and wherever you're watching. You always have to put a like. Listen, you know what I do? Every time I watch a video on YouTube, the first thing I do after watching, if it's a video that I watch and I enjoyed, I put a like. And I also try to put a comment on every video that I watch. It's important for the creators. Some people tend to forget that. Listen, I get 5 million views every month on YouTube, but I don't get 5 million likes. I don't even know how many likes I get. But listen, if you would put some likes, that would be cool. Just saying, put your flag of where you represent, and that's it. All right, let me see. What am I gonna do? What am I gonna do? What am I supposed to do? I'm looking for the planning of my show today. Let me see. YouTube, Club Shada. All right. Oh, shit, listen. There you go. Alrighty. Oh, Mama Dalia. How are you, Queen? I hope you're doing good. Solange Fortes, what do you do? I hope you're doing good as well. Listen, let's get on with it. Yeah, listen. This world is crazy. Yeah. My God. Listen. You have to understand one thing. So, since everybody's here, first of all, big up to everybody watching us on Twitter, X. Put some likes, put the flag where you represent. If you're watching on X, big up to everybody watching us on YouTube, and big up to everybody watching us on Facebook. But this show's home is YouTube. So, Mama Dalia, you have to listen to this story because it is tragic. It is tragic. Vraiment, quelle affaire. All right. So, Let me read a little bit of that shit. It's not funny, but yo. Oh my god. Eh, 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 eh. Ay, 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 ay. All right, so here's the thing. What it do, passionatable. Here's the thing. There's this guy, right? He arrived in his house, and sadly, he found his wife dead. So he was like horrified, and so yeah, he called the police, and he said that he left his house at 7:30 to go buy some bread, and then when he came back home at 8:10, he found the body of his wife. I mean, he's not his wife. He's the woman he was sharing his life, and he was about to marry. So his fiancée. He found the body full of blood. Her name was Alicia, and yeah, very sad, very sad, very sad, very sad. So of course, when the police arrive, he says to the police that maybe this was people trying to rob the house, and I don't know, something went bad, and he says that maybe he thinks something disappeared from the house. He's not sure. So of course, police opens a case, and they start looking for clues, right? And but as the case is going, the police and the detectives are starting to see that there's a lot of things that don't compute. Things don't work. So they're starting to realize that this might not be a burglary. This might not be people trying to get in your house to buy. So they're starting to realize that the boyfriend, the fiancé, the guy, was having an intimate relation online with somebody that he was in love with, that he met online, and that he only saw the photo of that person. And then they start realizing that this guy has been sending money to this girlfriend. 2,200 euros in Ivory Coast. So they just come and get him. They're like, yo, you're going to be booked. So of course, once he is in garde à vue, he just falls apart and he ends up saying the truth. He killed his fiancée. And you know why did he kill his fiancée? Because he wanted to really live completely his real love. His real love with his girlfriend from Ivory Coast that he had never met. And his wife was becoming an obstacle to true love. So, first thing they do, they put him in jail as he wait for justice. And now they start looking to who is Béatrice Leroux, the girlfriend, the love of his life, the one that he was sending money to, and he decided to kill his girlfriend. That was what? 3 months ago. Damn. So they decide to start looking who's the girlfriend and why did he decide to kill his wife for somebody, his future wife, for somebody that he just met online and he's been in love with, but online. A photo. And you know what they discovered? It was a brouteur. You know what a brouteur is? It's people, guys that are in Ivory Coast or in Nigeria. But the French one are in Ivory Coast and Cameroon usually, maybe Congo. And they make you fall in love. They use fake photos, fake videos to make you believe that you're talking to a real person. But in reality, you're talking to a fake profile. And most of the time, it's one guy that is talking to 10, 20 different guys that are usually in another country, in France or something, and people that are lonely and they're on the internet, and then they meet on Facebook and you talking to this fake profile, and then you have long conversation until they make you fall in love, you fall in love. You don't realize that you're talking to a guy, but probably some black guy in Ivory Coast, but the photo they show you is some nice girl that they probably stole the photo somewhere, and she's amazing and you in love with her, and then one day she just disappeared for 5 days and you start being anxious. Where is she? What's going on? Oh my God. And then she reappears and she says, "Oh chérie, pardon. Oh, my grandma is sick." What? Your grandma is sick? Oh my God. No, I'm gonna disappear. I really need to find money. Like, oh my God, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I think I'm gonna prostitute myself because I cannot let my grandma die. And you run to Western Union and you start sending money. 100, 300, 500, 1,000, 1,005, 2,000, whatever. Once they realize that you're not going to send more money or you're starting to be suspicious, they block you, they change the whole profile, new photos, and they go on to the next one. And they probably have 4 or 5 people at the same time. All right, tell you the truth. I know somebody that back in the days, I'm talking like 20 years ago, he had one of those internet cafes in Ivory Coast. He had like 1 or 2 or 3 of them. And he was making a ton of money. And I was like, what are you guys doing here? What are the brouteur? What you mean? Well, we find naive guys online and we make them believe that they are talking to girls. And I'm like, how you do it? Well, we talk to them. We put nice photos, and then usually we have like 5 to 10 conversations open at the same time on MSN, and we just having all these conversations at the same time, chatting to all these guys. And listen, the guys, they just making it happen. So then the police told this guy, you killed your woman for somebody that was not even a woman. And it was just a crook, a brouteur. This guy must be thinking a lot of things in his head, because he fell in love with an idea and he destroyed his life for that. That shit is crazy. That is sad. I don't know what you think about it, Lou. Let me know what you think. But the real story, huh? Real story, listen. Real story. Happened 3 months ago. The guy just fell victim to, les brouteurs. That shit to me is crazy. But yeah, it is what it is. Listen, in my I've been online since 1996. Yeah, more or less. That's when I really started having my website, Kaysha.com, and that's when I started using email and all these things, like back in the days, and seeing the potential of what this could become. And I had my share of encounters with fake women. Not only women that send you like women that send you like, I would not say fake photos, but photos that make you believe. Like back in the days, it was not filters. Back in the days, it was just angles. They would work with the angle to make you believe that they're not fat, or they have a nice nose, when in reality they have the Carabosse nose, all that stuff. And listen, I only needed 1 or 2 dates to realize that, okay, there's a problem in this whole operation of meeting people online and having long conversations online with people without seeing them for real. Listen, I fell in love in the dark once. I told you that story before, and it ended very badly. So no, I'm not falling in love with somebody that I only met online and that's it. And you kill your partner? Bro, what's wrong with you? This is horrible. Listen, can you imagine the parents? This idiot, this killed your daughter because of somebody that he never met, an online relationship, and in reality, that person was a crook. Probably the photo was some nice blonde girl, but in reality was some black guy from Trècheville. So that's why you kill my daughter? Yo. Listen. I remember that girl on Facebook. She used to talk to me all the time. Listen, I tend to be very, very, very méfiant when it comes to being online and talking with people. Everything I type on the internet to anybody, I assume that they might take a screenshot. So anything I write has to be something that I can assume. Either it's a joke or something else, it has to be something that I can assume. And whenever I speak to, especially when I was single, whenever I spoke to a woman online, I was always assuming that, first of all, the photos could be fake. Second of all, I'm always in the conversation placing some tricks, finding a way to ask a photo without asking a photo, sending a video or a photo from somewhere so that the person does the same thing, just having conversations. And every time I'm talking to somebody, I'm always saying to myself, this could be somebody trying to frame me. This could be somebody that is not who I believe it is. That could be a catfish. That could be... I'm always thinking about all these things when I talk to anybody. Unless it's somebody I know. And even when it's somebody I know that I'm speaking to. Listen. And it's something I tell my wife all the time. When you're speaking to your brother, your sister, with me, with anybody, realize that whatever you send online in a conversation or something, if your phone gets stolen, or if somebody else stole the phone of the person that you're talking to, even if it's a person you trust, that person might not have the same security in their phone the way that you have security on your phone. So whatever you send, even to the people that you trust the most, might be a problem for you tomorrow. So just be careful what you write, what you say, everything. Listen, everything you send to anybody, you just have to write it knowing that if you have to assume it, can you assume it? That's it. That's what I tell people. Because listen, I already remember speaking to this girl on Facebook, and I don't know, something was fishy. I cannot explain what, because everything was normal. The conversations were normal. The girl was looking nice, but everybody in her profile was looking nice. Everybody looked like a La Redoute or a Benetton. Every photo was too perfect. And I was like, something is strange here. But listen, we were just having normal conversation, nothing special. She was never saying anything like sexy, me neither. He was just talking with somebody online, and oh yeah, whenever you come to my city, all right. But I don't know. I was like, something is not right. And one day she disappeared from Facebook for maybe 3 weeks. And me, listen, I was just doing my life, so I didn't really care. But I just realized that the person disappeared. One day I was like, hey, what's up with that person? And click on the profile. The profile was empty. I was like, interesting. I mean, all right, whatever. So maybe it was a fake profile. And then the person waits another 2 months and then continues the conversation with me as if nothing happened. So I was like, hey, long time. Oh, yeah, long time. I was in the middle of my exam for becoming a lawyer. Oh, okay, cool. And then as a curiosity, I go to the profile. When you don't know somebody for real, and it's not like somebody that you really care that much about, you don't realize that when they decide to change all their photos. But when I checked the profile, I was like, wait a minute. Is it the same person? Because the photos were different. But I could not really pinpoint what was different. But it was not the same photos. So I started checking other photos because I was like, that's not how she looks. But every photo was these photos. So I said to myself, listen, maybe I maybe I remember somebody else, or who knows. And only years after, there's a model from Romania that was only known in East Europe, and then she got married with an American actor, so she became famous in what's her name? What's her name? Model. What's her name? I'm not gonna find her name. What's her name? Maria Magdalena? No. Is this? No. Yeah, what's her off? Of course I don't remember her name now. Anyway. Romania famous model. Her name is Madalena Diana Genea. That's the one. There she is. So, this photo of her is not beautiful. Let me find a nice photo of her. She's actually in a movie on Netflix now. There she is. This one. And so she was using in her profile a bunch of photos from this girl. But because I was a very, very beautiful and very famous Romanian model. What's her name? Madalena Genea. Yeah. So for years, I was talking to this girl. So we never had anything crazy in the conversation. But I was talking to this person. But in reality, I don't know who I was talking to. But I don't know if the person tried to trick me or not. But listen, I'm just careful online. And one day my ex-girlfriend, because one day I told my ex-girlfriend, hey, listen, this girl that I've been talking to for years, but there's something strange about her. And my ex just went and found that person. And I was like, oh, so that was a catfish. Wow. Listen, I don't know why people would pretend being who they're not or use another photo than their own, but some people do it. Listen, I have a friend, he's a club owner, and he was doing, like 15 years ago, we met some girls in Cancun. And not 15 years ago, even more than that. Anyway, 2008, we met some girls in Cancun. Nice girls. We met them on the beach, bring them at the hotel, start being friends and stuff. And we exchanged Facebook and stuff. So what he did, he was friends, right, with the girl on Facebook for real. So we know them for real, right? He created a fake profile of a fake girl that was promoting for his club. And so he created the profile of the girl that he knows, and he blocks the girl that he knows on the fake profile that he created. Now, every time the girl posts new photos, he takes the photos and he populates the fake profile. So the girl never knows that there's a fake profile because she doesn't see it on Facebook because she's blocked. And she doesn't realize that my friend is using her photos because they are friends already, right? So she lives in Canada, I think. And So what he does, he use the fake profile to promote his parties and to connect with all the guys that he knows that goes to his party, the football players, the drug dealers, the singers, etc. He used that profile to send them messages saying, "Oh yeah, listen, I'm the new promo person from my friend, and yeah, listen." So he adds them as a friend, and then she promotes the party. She just promotes the party, and he was receiving crazy messages from his friends trying to bag the girl. And at the same time, every time they're like, "Oh, he didn't see you at the party," and she was like, "Oh, I was there. I don't know. I was mostly in the back, but then I left early because I only work until this time, and too bad, next time." And he was catfishing his friends, and at the same time, he was using, every time she would post new photos, she would take the photos and use them. He would take the photos and use them in her fake profile. How crazy is that? People are. So one day he's like, "Yo, look at this." And I look at the profile. I'm like, "Oh, that's the girl from Canada. The girls we met in Cancun." He's like, "No, look." He shows me the whole operation. I was like, "Oh, you crazy." But it worked. All these guys were going to the party, taking a table just to see her. Listen, the internet is a dangerous place. I'm telling you. There's a lot of people watching us on Twitter, on X. Put the flag of where you're representing, please. Dale is saying, "I'm not a fan of falling in love with somebody online. Fake world with dangerous people." Listen, you are not a fan of falling in love with nobody other than my cousin. I don't even know what you're talking about. Falling in love. Belle bonjour, Lina. La milliardaire, what up, what up, what up, what up, what up? Comment ça va? Sabrina Ziklov, what up? The Carman of Kentucky, I love your music, bro. I'm waiting for the new album. New album comes out April 5th, first week of April. New album. The name of the album is Diaspora Deluxe. Max, amitié en souvenir de tonton Yves Saint-Gamanon. Yo, amitié, Maxou, what up? Yo, listen. Damn, a lot of people on X. What up on X? Put some fire in the chat. Put some rainbows in the chat if you're enjoying the conversation. And if you ever met some crazy people online, tell me your stories. But yeah, listen. The guy killed his wife because of a brouteur. That shit is crazy. Makes no sense. Yeah. All right. We still have 20 minutes of show. Let me talk to you about French people and Aya Nakamura. Do you even know where the name Aya Nakamura comes from? I don't know if you remember that series called Heroes. In the series Heroes, there was one of the protagonists, one of the guy in the series, this one, that was called in the series, I think his name was Hiro Nakamura. That's where she used her name. That's where she found her name. I think that's a cool story. And actually, it is so interesting that you realize how, would you know what up? Dalia. It is very interesting that what France pretended to be to all of us, right? What they sold to us was a France of integration, of becoming, becoming French, bringing your culture with you, but putting it in your back, and at the same time embracing being a French person, speaking French and not your language from home, and they call this integration. Actually, France is the only country that believes in that. The rest of the world understand that people will go and flock together with who they look like, or who they have common interest or common taste or goals, and then after that there's going to be some mixing. And it's interesting because the only people that when they go to another country, they actually build their own neighborhoods inside their countries, and nobody has a problem with this, are the Chinese. Whenever you go to a country, right, and there's a Chinatown, nobody has a problem with it. Everybody think it's normal. Like, yeah, we have Chinatown here. In Paris, it's Paris 13e. We have Chinatown. In New York, you have, is it Canal Street? Chinatown. They even have Koreatown. They have Little Italy. But especially with Chinese, everybody think it's normal. Nobody has a problem with it. But when it comes to Africans or Arabs, communitarism, they don't like it. And here is a girl that had everything stacked against her. And she doesn't look like they want her to look. Neither the French white people nor the black people either. The guys from the West Indies, they hate the fact that she sings zouk and she's selling millions of records singing their music. Instead of embracing her and saying, thank for representing for us, they're like, she's from Mali, why is she singing our stuff? The guys from the record companies, they're like, damn, we prefer like some Algerian or Tunisian light skin with green eyes. They pass more like white. And she doesn't look like a model either. She's not like that slim girl that people used to sign. Like, so the labels, 10 years ago when she arrived, 2017, I remember, because one of the first person that she works with is a friend of mine. And listen, nobody thought that this girl from Mali singing zouk with a Japanese name would go far. They were like, yeah, it's cute. Listen, at that time, I was like, oh, this one. And I think was I already in Portugal when she started? I'm not sure. But I remember the first team she worked with, I was telling them, there's potential here. I was telling them, I want to make some beats, because there was something going on. And yeah, she was there singing zouk with a little bit of R&B, a little bit of Mali, a little bit of what us in Paris we actually call the multicultural. Listen, she made me think of me. Grew up in Paris, born in Africa, arrived early, grew up in Paris amongst multiple people. Whites, Asians, black, multiple types of black, French speaking black, African speaking black, whatever country from Africa, English speaking blacks, Portuguese speaking blacks, Capverdians, Chinese, Japanese, Albanians, Ukrainians, Russians, Italians, Portuguese, Spanish people. But in reality, we were more from Paris more than all these things. So when she started singing, she sang what she loves, what she grew up listening to in Paris, zouk. She grew up listening to Kim, Tia, probably to Kaysha, who knows? And yeah. But nobody thought that she would become the biggest French singer. And it is so interesting that she's now getting all these hate because the president said, well, she should open for the Olympic Games next year in Paris. Oh, everybody went crazy. This is not becoming a big political debate. Everybody forgetting that they're talking about a human being and a woman. All these people who talk about defense of women and what they feel in their heart, etc. All of a sudden, nobody cares. And it is becoming a racial divide about should Aya Nakamura sing in the Olympic Games in Paris. And me, I'm like, isn't this supposed to be to show when the integration wins? When you have somebody from Mali that became French, that grew up in France, that speak French, sings in French, that is selling tons and tons of records for as a French person, and he's paying hundreds of thousands of euros of taxes that you guys are using to pay the police, the hospitals, the lights. She's paying probably 100 times more taxes than all you guys that are angry. And still, I've been hearing the guys from Martinique and Guadeloupe say, yo, why doesn't she say that she sings zouk and this is not the real zouk and etc. And I'm like, she doesn't fit the profile, huh? And now the French media is there between those who want to defend her and those who want to say that it should not be her, or if she comes sing at the Olympic Games, like Macron said, she should sing Edith Piaf. The fuck are you talking about? When Beyonce goes to the Super Bowl, does she sing Elvis Presley? Nah, she sings Beyonce. And now you have an artist that is the biggest thing ever coming out of France from the last 10 years. And all you care about is that she doesn't fit the profile. and see, it's a little bit why I left that country 12 years ago. At a point, you just feels that you don't fit the profile, and you realize that you understand why this country is going the direction it's going. It's because of that. People in America are way more racist than in France. But when it comes to business, when it's time for the Super Bowl, they will put Usher, they will put Dr. Dre, they will put ex-gangsters, they will put ex-drug dealers, the Jay-Z's, they will put the this and the that, the Michael Jackson, the Prince, they will put representative of people that they might not align, but they understand that this is good for the aura of the country at the international, because it's the Olympic Games. And it makes complete sense when you are having an artist that is one of the best, if not the best selling artist these last few years. Every single that she does makes make a million streaming in the week, and go international every week. She's known everywhere. People don't really, the people that don't even understand what she sings, they know the lyrics, they know the songs, the generation, the multicolored generation, they just love her. And they all chant, they all know the songs. And she doesn't fit the profile that they want. But you know what? In America, which is, listen, a God-forsaken country, but when it comes to business, they understand that they need to think about the business more than the prejudgment they have in their head. And they're like, yo, listen, if she's number one, if she's the one, listen. All right, listen. Next Super Bowl, listen. When they think who we're gonna put at the Super Bowl, they think Taylor Swift, Beyonce, Usher, Rihanna, Drake. They think Lil Wayne. They're gonna think superstar, because they're gonna think business. They're gonna think about how we're gonna show something that the whole world wants to see. Listen, if I was the president of Congo and the Olympic Games was organized in Kinshasa and Lubumbashi and Goma and Kolwezi, you can be sure that to do the opening, I would call Fally Ipupa or Kofi and them. I would put the GOATs and I would tell them, yeah, how much you need to do a mega show, how much you need to do the best show of the world. We're going to make it happen. We're going to give you the accessories, the this, the that, how many dancers. You want 100 dancers? Let's go. Because this is the window of the world looking through our country. So you're gonna represent for us because you are part of us. And here is a country that did everything for these people to be part of the country, because they went and they invaded all these countries and they wanted to integrate all these people 60 years ago. And now they look at the kids of the kids of the kids of these people that they brought in, and they're like, you don't fit the profile. When they should be like, yeah, of course, it makes sense. Listen, even a racist person should say to himself, I don't like her, I don't like to see her, but she makes sense. She's number one. In terms of business, if I think about the country and Olympic Games, yeah, she should be there. And she should sing her songs. No fucking Edith Piaf. And here is a country that, listen, when I had my French passport, I was so proud. Like, after living there for probably 20 years, I finally was a French citizen. I finally would not have to enter touring around the world. I would finally not have to enter through the immigration. I could be there like a French person. And I've been paying taxes for 20 years. Listen, I'm just like her. I paid hundreds of thousands in taxes in that country, and proudly, because I was making hundreds of thousands more of money. So yeah, listen, every year I would pay my taxes and be like, yeah, I'm doing my part as a citizen. And that was before I became a French citizen. But then I think I had my nationality in 2010. But by then, a little bit after, I was like, I have to leave this place because of this backwards mentality of 2 weeks of debates on TV, online, of people insulting themselves, everybody going crazy about what? Just the fact that should Aya Nakamura sing at Olympic Games? 2 weeks? Oh, that's why I got the fuck out in 2012. Because this should not even be a conversation. Yeah, listen, you can debate, you can think about it for a day or two. Now, that's what they do out there. And that's why, listen, at a point, I don't even watch news in French. I don't even know what's going on. I just moved on. Because you just like, is it not what you wanted? For us to be integrated? And listen, I remember growing up, never thinking about where people were from. Listen, I have some friends, I remember growing up, going to shows with Stomy Bugsy. I had no idea that this guy was from Cape Verde. Doing shows with Passy. I had no idea that this guy was from Congo. Only when I went to the West Indies for the first time that I realized that, oh, the West Indies. Only when I start walking with Eligio, I was like, oh, this Cape Verdean community. Only through music, I started discovering all the different communities that was Paris. And I was like, oh. And when I did my first album, I just wanted to represent for everybody. As a normal guy from Paris, that in our normal French language, we use stuff from Congo, stuff from Maghreb, from Algeria, stuff from Corsica, stuff from the north of France, from stuff from here and there. It's just like it's just a melting pot. And of course I grew up privileged, so I didn't really realize, but when I did my first album, I never said to myself, I should do Congolese music. I should do rumba because I should do ndombolo or soukous because I was born in Congo, in Kinshasa. I never said to myself, everybody that comes from Martinique or Guadeloupe have to do zouk. Everybody that comes from Haiti have to do compa. Like, because to me, I came from Paris. I mean, I was born in Kinshasa, but I was in Paris since I was 7 years old. So I came from Paris. And I represented Paris and everybody in Paris from every color. And yeah, listen, our dream was to see more of us on TV. And when my album came out and my first video went on TV, that was the best thing in the world for me. And then after that, I wanted to explore the world. And as I explored the world, I realized of all the communities and everything. And I also realized one thing. You know what? Everywhere I go in the world, the French people, they stick together in communities. They all become neighbors. They have parties together. They stay together. The same thing they hate that people do in France, they do it when they are outside. Maybe because it's a normal human thing. But they just want to fight against normal things. And they hate that one of us, listen, she could have been of any color. And they just hate that. It works. She's a product of Paris. And she has a little bit of Mali in her, probably a little bit of Congo in her, a little bit of West Indies through music, and a lot of France, because that's where she grew up. And yeah, she represents this country just like all of us. But she doesn't have the right profile. And listen, I believe she's a strong woman, but listen, I wouldn't want to be in that position where you didn't ask for anything. The president just gave an idea. He said, I would love her to do it. And then everybody's going crazy and talking about you for 2 weeks. She's a woman, a mother. She's a person. She has a heart. She has feelings. And she has to see all this that is being said about her. And listen, she might be really hurt and shame on all of you. Or she might say, that's great promo for my new single. I don't know. But I now see a lot of people who are now defending her and who are pushing her and saying that we are behind you. But the same people a few years ago used to hate on her for not having the right profile too. They used to hate on her for doing zouk and not coming from the West Indies. I've been there. And so I look at everybody with my side eye and I'm like, see, the difference between us in the Francophone diaspora is the lack of unity, that the Americans understood that they needed to have to survive. And maybe because they lived stuff that was harder than us, they have these this need this urge to stick together and be behind each other and push them and spend money on their own project to become strong, that we don't have because we didn't go through the horrible thing that they went through. Yeah, we're just there and yeah, listen, I cannot find a home because my name is Mohammed. Like all this stuff, like the ordinary small racism. This is not like what these people have been had to go through, and they had to have the Black Panthers, the Martin Luther Kings, etc. Like because they had all that, and they have other problems out there. In the US, they're stuck in this idea that the whole world has to be divided and everything has to be racial. But us, because everything has always been very hypocrite, we end up not really sticking together. And another reason for that is also the fact that we all come from different places, which is, I believe, something that makes France a very rich country. The fact that the wealth from everybody is bringing something, and there's a lot of great things to choose from everybody. There's a lot of bad things that come too, but it's normal. Like, but if people live together, they end up finding ways to make it work. And at the same time, it's the quality of that. But at the same time, it makes people not really stick together because everybody is also coming from all these different places. Black Americans, they are more American than they are anything else. Even if they see themselves as victims in the US a lot, they still see themselves as Americans. They don't see themselves as Beninois, Congolais. They're not into that. They are Americans. So these are some of the differences that put us here, where once again we realize that we have to be behind, and sometimes we all have to step in front and be in front to protect our heroes. Listen, learn from the Jews. That's what they do. You say something about one of them, you get canceled. Because, yeah, they seized the means of production. They made sure to be everywhere and to have power. And there's nothing wrong about that. This is what we should do as well. But we don't. We just want to be there on front, sing, play football, etc. Nobody wants to be in the back work, be down there doing the dirty work, or try to become the president. But look at all of us, how we celebrate when Obama is a president as if he became the president of France. Try to be a mayor in France, just a mayor, and you will see how you don't fit the profile. So it's a very interesting state of the world. And listen, all I know is that I'm behind you. And if you need anything, just call. It is what it is. Edgar is saying, but there in Portugal 30, 40 years ago was the same thing that you mentioned of France. Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that we have a lot of people from Twitter. They don't comment, but they're watching. That's cool. Listen, I'm not saying that it is easy to integrate. Like, listen, right now in Portugal, we having people that are, and it's funny because, listen, the Portuguese have been rolling around the world, fucking everything that moves, making Métis babies everywhere. They went to Japan. They went to Congo. They were, listen, I have Portuguese blood myself. They went to to everywhere in the world. Like they are part of the workforce in France. They're part of the people who built in France. Like they are half of the population of Luxembourg. So they are a migrating people. And I look at them yelling because there's too many Nepalese in Lisbon. And you're like, what? But listen, I'm not saying it's easy. It's not easy to have new people that are coming with maybe different cultures and listen, and maybe too much at the same time. And you have to make sure that people are safe, people have a job, etc., etc. So people can have epidermic reactions. So you have to be, careful about how you do it. But at the same time, at a point, you make it work. Because people integrate, people learn the language, people, back in the days, Portuguese, Spanish, and Italians were treated like animals in France. In the 60s, the French was hating them, and they were calling them like basané, like because they didn't have light white skin. They were like from the south. They were seen like all these poor people coming in, and now they are integrated. So it's interesting in this world that they sell us as a world of multicultural with interconnected countries with one passport and one money to rule a whole continent. At the same time, it's not as simple. And then time goes by, and then you have new people to hate. What up, Mimi? Mimi saying, so it doesn't make sense to propose her if it is to criticize. Well, listen, interestingly, it's the president just had an idea. He was talking. He was like, oh, that would be cool if it was her. But she's not even like, she has not even been proposed or has even accepted. That's the worst part. It's just the president said that would be cool, and everybody went crazy. Interesting state of the world. Maybe that's a mask slip. Integration as a nice sounding concept, but France does not really want it. I believe that whoever started it wanted it. They wanted it, but maybe it worked for some people and then it stopped working for some reason. And you have to understand the cause on both sides. Maybe the government didn't do what they have to do. Maybe they put most of the people in the wrong place. They stopped parking people around Paris, so it became like a ghettoization of every non-French, because then the French that used to live in Sarcelles, for example, at a point they just decided to leave and to move to other places because it was not working. So listen, is it not working? Yes and no, because she's a prime example of when it works, and I am one too. And there's a lot of example of when it works. It's just that they love to show you when it doesn't work. So the melting pot, Rudiano is saying the melting pot integration are nice sounding concept, good ideas to have, but if the country doesn't believe in it, it shows sooner or later. I would also say that the country might believe in it in the 60s, and then the next generation might not believe in it. Or sometimes, yeah, they believe in it, but then they realize it's not that simple. Or listen, personally, I don't really understand the idea that you ask people to come to your country and you tell them if you come to our country, you have to forget about you. You have to forget about your culture, your religion, your I believe that, listen, the UK or the US are better examples of where they understand that communities will always exist. And yeah, listen, they don't put their hands in your cults. They don't put your hands in your cultures, as long as all this is under the laws of the Republic. The problem most of the time with, especially right now in the countries, they want to put their hands in everything. They want to put their hands in your family. They want to give opinion about your vaccines, about your children, about your sexuality, about everything. And they should put hands off. So this whole thing is something that you have to really study to ask yourself how we got where we got. Edgar is saying, on that time when they heard our song Zouk, Funana, and our respecting dances, Kizomba, Funana, they watched like if we were aliens. Yes. And now they all dance it. That's the thing. It's like, not everything works as easy in the beginning, and then it's funny. I had a friend today. We were talking about the fact that the Portuguese politics in the elections of this weekend is going a little more center right. So, and him as a black integrated person who lives here like me was like, well, like, they can't get rid of all the Indians. Huh? I was like, yo, you arrived here 10 years ago. What's wrong with you? But yeah, listen, whoever arrives is a newcomer and people look at him strange. After 10 years, he's part of everybody and he's looking at the newcomers strange. It is what it is. Tatiana Said, hello, how are you? I hope you're doing good. Edgar is saying, nowadays there are 8 in 10 cars with our batucadas on high level. Yep, listen, a lot of times I'm in my street in Parc das Nações and some cars pass by and I recognize my rhythms. And I recognize that it's one of my instrumentals. And I'm like, look at this. That's beautiful. Anyway, well, I'm gonna start going more on Twitter because there's a lot of people on Twitter tonight. Listen, it is what it is. Like we say in French, qui vivra verra. I hope you enjoyed that show. Like I did, make sure that you visit my revamped website, sushiraw.com, and make sure that you also go watch some new some old episodes of Club Shada and some clips, and put some comments, and hopefully you are subscribed to the YouTube channel. Anyway, you could not put any comments if you were not subscribed. If you enjoy this conversation, make sure you put some rainbows in the chat. This show was brought to you by shadaware.com, Gods of Good Fortune. Thanks to our stream royalty, Anan Saudi, with a beautiful $21.54 dollars donation. And thanks to all our sponsors who are you know, subscribing and helping this show. I'm gonna leave you with a track called The Village, and produced by me. And don't forget one thing, we have a new album, so we're gonna have an album listening party. So my new album is called Diaspora Deluxe, is gonna be out April 5th, and it's 3 albums that I do, and I don't even shoot music videos. My life has changed. Listen, much love to everybody. I hope you enjoyed the show, and also much love to everybody that came to see me in Toulouse and in Manchester last Friday and Sunday. I will put the videos on YouTube and on Instagram and TikTok starting tonight. All right. Bless everybody, and I'll see you when I see you, which means Sunday, to continue our beautiful conversation. Much love. Bless.